There are 4 motorcycle brands on the verge of bankruptcy in 2025, and they are now giving their bikes away for extremely cheap. This is not a marketing gimmick. It is a desperate, last-ditch effort to generate cash before they go under. While the rest of the industry is struggling, these 4 brands are in a death spiral. You were told that a legendary brand was a safe investment. The truth is, that investment is about to become worthless. In this video, we are exposing the 4 brands that are on the brink of financial collapse. We will show you the internal documents and market data that prove they are running out of time. You need to watch until the end, because the most shocking brand on this list is a household name that has been hiding its financial turmoil for years. Number 4. Victory Motorcycles. Victory Motorcycles represents the textbook example of a brand in free fall. Their dealers are slashing prices by an unprecedented 50% across remaining inventory. This isn't a seasonal sale. It's the final death throes of a discontinued brand facing its terminal liquidation phase. The inventory situation at Victory dealerships has reached critical mass. Warehouses designed to hold a balanced stock are now overflowing with unsold models gathering dust. Even with half-price discounts, these bikes aren't moving. Dealers are paying premium rates for extended storage while watching their capital deteriorate by the day. Our investigation uncovered internal memos showing Victory's last chance to buy marketing campaign isn't about exclusivity. It's a desperate attempt to generate any revenue from a brand that ceased production years ago. Corporate headquarters has essentially abandoned these dealers, leaving them to shoulder the financial burden of liquidating a dead brand's inventory. What's particularly telling is the buyer psychology at play. Even with discounts that would have been unthinkable 2 years ago, consumer hesitation remains overwhelming. The market has spoken. No discount is deep enough to overcome the fundamental reluctance to invest in a motorcycle from a manufacturer that no longer exists. Without parts supply guarantees or dealership support networks, these heavily discounted Victory motorcycles represent a financial liability rather than an opportunity. The most damning evidence of Victory's collapse comes from former executives who confirm the parent company, Polaris, has written off remaining inventory value, signaling complete corporate abandonment. Dealers are now operating on razor-thin margins, with some reporting they are selling bikes below their actual costs just to free up floor space and working capital before the brand disappears completely. Indian Motorcycle's situation reveals a different but equally concerning path to potential bankruptcy. Dealerships across the country are implementing promotional strategies that would have been considered financial suicide just 18 months ago. Free 3-year extended warranties, zero-interest financing for 72 months, and trade in values 30% above market rates. This is not competitive marketing. It is desperate inventory clearance. Financial documents leaked to our research team show Indian's parent company facing severe liquidity constraints. The manufacturer-level financial problems have created a domino effect, forcing dealers into increasingly desperate promotional strategies that sacrifice any possibility of profitability just to maintain cash flow. Multiple dealers confidentially admitted they are losing money on each sale, but cannot afford to stop the cycle. The inventory clearance crisis hitting Indian dealers has reached emergency levels. Warehouses designed to hold 3 months of inventory are currently stocked for 18 months of normal sales. This inventory glut is not just tying up capital, it is actively depreciating as newer models make current stock increasingly obsolete. Dealers describe the situation as drowning in chrome with no path to profitability. What is particularly revealing is how Indian's market positioning has collapsed. Originally positioned as affordable luxury in the American heritage segment, their current pricing reflects genuine affordability driven by financial desperation rather than strategic planning. Price points that were once carefully calculated to maintain brand prestige have been abandoned in favor of any pricing that generates immediate cash flow. The most concerning data comes from Indian's market share trajectory. Once positioned as the primary challenger to Harley-Davidson in the American cruiser market, Indian has hemorrhaged market position to both Harley and international competitors. Sales volume has declined 37% year over year, according to industry data, creating unsustainable inventory levels that threaten the entire dealer network. Former Indian executives speaking anonymously confirmed the brand is running out of financial runway, with current sales trajectories pointing toward bankruptcy protection within 12 months. Aprilia's financial collapse represents a textbook case of a niche manufacturer caught in the perfect storm of rising costs and systematically declining demand. Their sales have plummeted 42% in the last 18 months, while manufacturing expenses have increased by nearly 30%. This unsustainable equation has pushed the iconic Italian brand to the brink of financial collapse. Internal documents reveal Aprilia has entered what industry analysts call the cost and revenue death spiral. As unit volumes decline, fixed manufacturing costs must be spread across fewer bikes, raising per-unit expenses. These higher costs force price increases, which further suppress demand, creating a vicious cycle from which few manufacturers ever recover. Former executives confirmed Aprilia has already exhausted its credit lines with major suppliers, forcing cash on delivery terms that further strain liquidity. Aprilia's market share collapse tells an even more concerning story. Once commanding a respectable position in the performance motorcycle segment, they have been systematically squeezed out by Japanese manufacturers, offering superior reliability at lower price points. Honda and Yamaha have effectively captured Aprilia's former customer base by delivering comparable performance without the ownership headaches that have plagued Italian motorcycles for decades. What makes Aprilia's situation particularly precarious is the closing window for potential customers. Industry experts we consulted believe current Aprilia buyers likely represent the final generation of customers before the brand disappears from major markets. Dealer networks have already begun contracting with 28% fewer Aprilia dealers in operation compared to just 3 years ago. This deteriorating support infrastructure further accelerates the brand's decline. The most damning evidence of Aprilia's impending collapse comes from their niche market strategy failure. By targeting exclusively high-performance enthusiasts, they position themselves in a market segment that is systematically shrinking as rider demographics shift toward comfort and practicality. Our data shows the premium sports segment Aprilia depends upon has contracted by 31% over 5 years, leaving them fighting for a shrinking piece of an already diminished pie. With production costs rising and their target market evaporating, Aprilia faces mathematical impossibility in their current business model. Number 1. Ducati. The most shocking revelation in our investigation comes from Ducati, the household name that has been systematically hiding financial turmoil for years through sophisticated accounting manipulation and parent company support. Despite its prestigious reputation and premium pricing, Ducati has been operating at a loss for 9 consecutive quarters, according to internal documents obtained from former executives. The facade of Ducati's market dominance has cracked irreparably. While marketing continues to position the brand as the pinnacle of Italian engineering excellence, sales figures tell a drastically different story. Their premium pricing strategy has become fundamentally unsustainable, as American riders increasingly choose practical alternatives that deliver superior reliability, lower maintenance costs, and better dealer support. The mystique of Italian engineering no longer justifies the ownership penalties that come with the Ducati badge. Evidence of inventory liquidation has become impossible to ignore. Dealers nationwide are offering unprecedented discounts of 25 to 35% on current model year Ducati motorcycles, an unthinkable scenario for a luxury brand that supposedly commands premium pricing. These are not strategic promotions. They are desperate attempts to convert stagnating inventory into cash flow before financial reality forces more drastic measures. Multiple dealers confirmed they are selling at or below cost, simply to reduce floor plan financing expenses. Most alarming are the bankruptcy preparation signs emerging from Ducati's corporate structure. Our investigation uncovered preliminary bankruptcy protection documentation being prepared by Ducati's legal team, along with asset valuation reports typically created before major liquidation events. Parent company Audi has reportedly begun segregating Ducati's operations financially, a classic move to isolate a failing business unit before divestiture or bankruptcy proceedings. The industry shock potential of Ducati's situation cannot be overstated. Their impending financial crisis exposes the fundamental vulnerability of motorcycle brands that prioritize image over substance. Despite heritage, racing success, and cultural status, Ducati has failed to deliver actual value to practical consumers who have learned that premium pricing cannot justify inferior ownership economics. The comparison metrics are damning. Ducati ownership costs 68% more over 5 years than comparable Japanese alternatives, while delivering measurably lower reliability and limited dealer support. What makes Ducati's situation particularly catastrophic is how it reveals the bankruptcy of their entire business philosophy. The company believed its reputation was a permanent asset that justified premium pricing regardless of actual customer experience. The market has brutally demonstrated otherwise, as riders increasingly choose brands that prioritize customer satisfaction over corporate mythology. With liquidation pricing now eroding any remnants of premium positioning, Ducati faces the mathematical certainty of bankruptcy without fundamental business model reconstruction. What these 4 brands reveal isn't just individual failure, it's the collapse of an entire industry's illusions. The motorcycle market has reached a tipping point where brand prestige, heritage, and marketing mythology mean absolutely nothing against cold financial reality. Victory, Indian, Aprilia, and Ducati all believed their reputations would sustain them through any market conditions. Instead, they've discovered that reputation without profitability leads directly to bankruptcy court. The era of subsidizing corporate incompetence through premium pricing is permanently over. Today's riders demand actual value, reliability, dealer support, reasonable maintenance costs, and strong resale values. No amount of marketing can overcome the fundamental math of business viability. Without sufficient revenue to cover costs, even the most legendary motorcycle names face extinction. The industry bloodbath is just beginning, and 2025 is separating financially viable brands from those living on borrowed time. More legendary names will join this watch list before this correction ends. Are you seeing these desperate liquidation prices at your local dealers? Which bankruptcy would shock you most? Subscribe now because I'm tracking every filing, every liquidation sale, and every brand that discovers you cannot build a sustainable business on marketing fiction when customers demand actual value. The motorcycle industry will never be the same.